What's up, apex predators of the algorithm? Welcome back to Alpha Animals, the only podcast where we take nature's most iconic beasts and ask the question nobody asked for, but were they actually that cool, though? I'm your host, and today we're talking about the OG influencer of the Ice Age, the woolly mammoth. You know, that elephant that said, "What if I was goth?" and committed to the aesthetic hard. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another mammoth documentary, stop, because I'm about to ruin everything you learned from Ice Age the movie. Yeah, Manny lied to you, Sid lied to you, that whole franchise, propaganda. Let me ask you something. Do you think mammoths were just big, fluffy elephants wandering around the tundra looking majestic? Wrong. These absolute units were the pickup truck owners of the Pleistocene. Unnecessary? Maybe. Iconic? Absolutely. Okay, real talk. Everyone thinks mammoths were these colossal mega beasts that could step on a building. You've seen the museum displays. You've seen Jurassic Park. Wait, wrong franchise. You've seen the documentaries with CGI mammoths the size of your mom's disappointment when you said you're starting a podcast. But here's the tea. Most woolly mammoths were about the same size as modern African elephants. Some were even smaller. Yeah, the woolly mammoth, in many cases, was just a regular elephant that shopped at Hot Topic. There were bigger species, like the steppe mammoth and the Columbian mammoth. Those boys could reach 13 feet tall and weigh 10 tons. But your average woolly boy, about 9 to 11 feet. Still huge, don't get me wrong, but not kaiju attacking Tokyo huge. It's like when you meet your favorite celebrity and you're like, wait, you're 5'7"? The internet said you were 6'2". Same energy. And yes, I see you typing "actually" in the comments already. Yes, I know there were variations. Yes, there were island dwarves that were the size of cows. We'll get there. Relax. Have a snack. This is a journey. Let's talk about what made mammoths mammoths, that iconic shaggy coat. Imagine being an elephant and deciding, you know what, I'm gonna grow hair like I'm in a Norwegian black metal band. These guys had 3 layers of fur. 3! You have a winter jacket with 1 layer and you complain it's too bulky. Mammoths had an undercoat, a middle coat, and guard hairs that could be 3 feet long. 3 feet! That's longer than your last relationship lasted. And why? Because they lived in Siberia during the Ice Age, where the weather was basically, what if we made outside hurt? Temperatures dropped to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's negative 45 degrees Celsius for my metric friends. That's your Wi-Fi stops working cold. But here's the kicker. You ready for this? Mammoths didn't even need all that hair to survive. Scientists found that their hair was actually too good at insulating. In fact, mammoths had an overheating problem. Yeah, they were so well insulated that they had to avoid physical activity during the warm parts of the day. Imagine being so committed to a look that you can't even go for a jog. That's method acting, baby. Now let's talk about those tusks. Mammoth tusks could grow up to 15 feet long and weigh 200 pounds each. That's like carrying 2 adult humans on your face. Why? Well, they used them to sweep snow off vegetation so they could eat, which is practical, sure, but also imagine using a forklift to open a bag of chips. That's the energy here. Males also used their tusks to fight each other for mating rights. You know, like dudes who rev their engines at red lights. Bro, check out my tusks. They're curved, very rare. Cost me 80,000 calories to grow. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. And fun fact, we've found mammoths with broken tusks, healed injuries, and even one that grew in a full spiral because of an old injury. This man was out here living his life with a decorative tusk malfunction and still thriving. Respect. So, what did these walking carpets eat? Grass. Mostly grass. Also sedges, shrubs, and the occasional tree bark when they were feeling fancy. But here's the thing, mammoths had to eat about 400 pounds of vegetation per day. That's like eating 1,600 quarter pounders daily just to maintain their bulk. And because Ice Age vegetation was low quality, think of it as the fast food of the prehistoric world, they had to spend 20 hours a day eating. 20 hours! They had a 4-hour lunch break from lunch. You think you're busy? This guy's Google Calendar was just eat from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. All right, let's get into the drama, because yes, mammoths had drama. Mammoths lived in matriarchal herds. That means the girls ran the show. An older female, let's call her Giga Chad Grandma, led the group. She knew where the food was, where the water was, how to avoid predators. She was the group chat admin. Males, they got kicked out at puberty. Just, you're 10 years old now, Carl. Time to leave. Good luck. Don't die. And Carl's out here wandering the tundra solo, occasionally meeting up with other teenage mammoths to form bachelor groups. You know what they called these groups? Bull groups. You know what they did? Fought each other and ate. That's it. No emotional intelligence, no long-term planning, just vibes and violence. It's literally a frat house, but everyone's 6 tons. Okay, here's where it gets spicy. Why did mammoths go extinct? If you said climate change, you're half right. If you said humans, you're also half right. The real answer is it's complicated, and scientists are still arguing in the group chat. Here's what we know. The Ice Age ended around 10,000 years ago. Temperatures rose, grasslands turned into forests and wetlands. Mammoths, who were built for frozen steppes, suddenly found themselves in a world that didn't suit them. It's like if your favorite restaurant changed the entire menu and replaced everything with kale. But, and this is a big but, humans showed up with spears and a taste for megafauna, and we hunted. There's evidence of humans taking down mammoths, butchering them, using every part. We made tools from their bones, shelters from their ribs, and probably some sick prehistoric TikToks. Did humans single-handedly wipe them out? Probably not. Did we help? Oh, absolutely. Some mammoths survived on isolated islands until about 4,000 years ago. That's 2000 BC. The pyramids were already built. Stonehenge was old news. There were mammoths alive when ancient Egyptians were writing in hieroglyphics. Let that sink in. And now, because we live in a simulation, scientists want to bring them back. Yes, mammoth cloning is a real thing people are working on. The idea is to take preserved mammoth DNA, splice it with elephant DNA, and create a hybrid, a mammothephant, if you will. Nobody asked for this, but science said, what if Jurassic Park, but woolly? Would it work? Maybe. Should we do it? That's a philosophical question I'm not qualified to answer, but I will say if we bring back mammoths and they immediately go extinct again because of climate change, that's the most human thing we could possibly do. So what have we learned today? Mammoths were not the invincible mega beasts of legend. They were just elephants who adapted, survived, and then got absolutely wrecked by a combo of bad luck and human ambition. They were too hairy for their own good. They ate grass for 20 hours a day. They had soap opera level social drama, and they died out while humans were busy inventing writing. But you know what? They lasted millions of years. They survived ice ages, predators, and volcanic winters. They were icons. And if that's not alpha behavior, I don't know what is. All right, that's it for today's episode of Alpha Animals. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, or don't, I'm not your dad. Leave a comment telling me which animal I should roast next. Subscribe if you want more unhinged nature content. And remember, stay apex, stay curious, and maybe don't grow 3-foot-long hair. It's not as practical as you think. Catch you next time, Predators!